Here is the review of the Mastermind Creations Knee and Foxwire, which is their take on an IDW nickel and Dominus Ambus, aka the pet. And also, these are the next components or the next members of the Decepticon Justice Division, or the DJD team. And these two are a two-pack when you first get these guys. So we'll first start off with Dominus Ambus, or the pet. I'm going to go ahead and call him Dominus Ambus. Now, I'm not going to spend a lot of time talking about Dominus Ambus here, because I've already reviewed this mold before. Because, yes, people, this is a repaint and a slight retool of the Mastermind Creations Jaguar. Their take on IDW or Beast Wars Ravage. And to show you a little comparison here with Ravage here. And I will have to zoom in so you can see what's changed and what's not been changed. So for the changes that I can see that's been remolded is, of course, the head sculpts here, and also Dominus Ambus does have these new shoulder pad, well, these shoulder blade things here, whereas Ravage does not have any of that. And oh, and another difference is here that I can see is Dominus Ambus's body is a lot longer compared to Ravage here, which you can see here. And if I put them side by side here, you can see what I'm talking about here. His body is a lot longer compared to Ravage here, because Ravage's body is a lot shorter compared to Dominus Ambus here. And another remolding that they did is they remolded the hip missile launchers here. And they also remolded the tail here. Which you can see here. Oh, and Dominus Ambus on the top here does have this little T shape here, which is a cutout for his transformation, whereas Ravage does not have that. And everything else is basically the same thing from what I can see. Yep. Yep. Everything else is basically the same thing. And I will also have to show you the bottom here of what's remolded here. And Dominus Ambus does have a visible head on the bottom here. But you can rotate it around so it's not showing up on the bottom. And yeah, everything else is basically the same. So let's get Ravage out of the way so we can get a closer look on the details of Dominus Ambus. So here's a little close-up of his beast mode head here. And his eyes are painted in red, which you can see right there. That little red spot right there. And the mouth does open and close, and the teeth are painted in silver. And he does have some paint on his head here. And everything else, he just has the teal, the silver, and the gray on him. And also the articulation is the same as with Jaguar. I'm looking, yes. The articulation is the same as Jaguar. Except for Dominus Ambus here, he has a ball joint at the head here, and of course the mouth does open and close. And you can also move these things also. which I believe these are like the main parts here, which is part of the mane here, but behind his head. But the tail here, now the tail does have the same two ball joints here where you can move it up and down, and it does have the same little piece here that does flip up. And it does rotate all the way around like it does on Jaguar. But the differences for the tail is that you can move it side to side on these hinge joints here, although it can be a little tricky to do, because as you can see here, they do come untabbed when you're trying to move the tail back and forth, or left and right. But the tip of the tail here can move up and down. And these new hip missiles here can rotate all the way around on these joints here. But they also do have a hinge joint here. And that's about it. Now before we get into his robot mode, oh, and you can also move these up and down, or you can rotate them however you want, because these are on ball joints. Oh, and these things do have some there we go. They do have some gray paint on these blade things here, and also some gray paint on the front here. Now for features, before we get into robot mode, he does have an interchangeable beast mode head. And that is this battle damage head here. Which you can see it does have this messed up eye here, and it does have some green eyes picked out, and a little bit of silver and black, and parts of his ear here is missing, and he does have these silver things on the sides of his face, and he can still open and close his mouth, and swapping the heads is really easy. Oh, and you can still move the ears up and down, and swapping the heads is really easy. All you do is just pop off the normal beast mode head and pop on the battle damage head. Because it is on a ball joint here. And another thing that he comes with is this chain here, which has a little handle, and this piece here, and this piece does attach to the bottom of Dominus Ambus from this hole here to this peg here, and you want this facing like this. So you can have it like that, and you can also have like any figure from Mastermind Creations or any of the mainline Transformers grip onto this handle here. But an issue I have with it is if you try to untap this piece, see, that there's the problem right there. And that's what I was about to say. When you're trying to untap this piece from the chest, you're gonna end up untapping this part here. And you can glue this on, which I have done so, but I don't think I put enough glue in it. But I will when I'm done with this review. And I'm guessing this chain here is made out of like die-cast metal. I was touching it all day to see if I feel any die-cast metal. And I think it is. Maybe not. But I think it is made out of die-cast metal. I don't know. But I think it is. So that is pretty much it for Dominus Ambus. So now I'm gonna cut the camera and get him half transformed, because there is a few extra steps that I do want to show you when you get Dominus Ambus. So I'll be right back. Okay, so I got Dominus Ambus half transformed. So now for the extra steps that you have to do for Dominus Ambus is for these hip missiles here. You can either have them like this, or you can have them like this. Or if you want to, you can just remove these off if you want to. I'm going to go ahead and remove these. Now, for the tail, you're gonna split the tail in half. Well, first you gotta get this part out of the way first. And I will have to adjust the camera down. There we go. So you want to split the tail in half, and you're also gonna of course separate the two hinge joints, which are connected by halves of the tail, and get them out of the way. And you're also gonna rotate them around on these ball joints here, and you're also going to position them so they look something like this. Come on. There we go. Ah! And I just popped off one of his tails. There we go. And I'm just going to go ahead and leave this piece up. Okay, now the next step is you're gonna collapse up his lower body so that way it clicks into place. You can see here, and it is on that slider here. And you want to, there we go. You want to make sure it clicks into place. Now for the arms, you're gonna take these silver things, which his arms are connected to, and you're gonna rotate them this way so that these hinge joints are facing like this, so they look like this. And now you're gonna hold on this silver piece so that way you can take his arms and rotate them down. And now for the final transformation is for the beast mode head. What you're going to do with the beast mode head is you're going to take the beast mode head here and bring it all the way down, and this hole is where that tab is going to go into. And the mane here is where you're gonna bring it all the way down until it goes in this little cutout here where it was that T-shaped cutout that I showed you before. Although there we go. You have to make sure that his waist is extended out, so that way you can get this mane into this hole here. So before you collapse the waist all the way up, you have to fold back the mane part here. And now you can collapse the waist up. And then you just want to take these ear pieces here and just bring them back, and you're done. And now I'm gonna get them all positioned. And there we go. And I will also have to bring in Ravage also, so we can see what's been changed and what's not been changed. Now in robot mode, as you can obviously tell here, yeah, the obvious change that I can see here is Dominus Ambus is a little shorter compared to Ravage here. Because he has the sliding mechanism of his waist, where you slide it up and you slide it down. And of course, the chests are different, and so is the heads, and of course the shoulders, and everything else from the legs and the waist is pretty much the same. And here's the side view here. Oh, and he also has these like blade things here on the back of his shoulders here. Side view. And here's the back here. Dominus Ambus kind of like has a back skirt piece. And I did forget to flip out Ravage's heel spurs. But he still does stand up without the heel spurs. Here's the other side here. So now I'm going to get Ravage out of the way. Oh, and his head sculpt does have like a little mustache on him. And he does have the red eyes and the silver face. And the articulation is pretty much the same thing as Ravage here. Yeah, except Dominus Ambus has a lot more range in his head on a ball joint. And also, these two back skirt pieces have the same joints and the ball joints. So you can move these out of the way to have his legs move better. And that's about it for Dominus Ambus, or the pet. So now let's get him out of the way. And let's get to Nickel here, or Knee, which is her third party name. And yes, this is a female. So here she is in her Cybertronian vehicle thing, which the instructions is calling the here we go. She does have 3 modes for her vehicle mode. This is her first one. And this mode that she's in here is called the Land Alt mode. And it looks really nice. And let's get a closer look here. does have the silver painted, like, I guess you can call these exhaust pipes here, or it might be headlights. And, well, I think these things are headlights, and I think these are exhausts. I think. But she does have some blue paint on these headlights here. And some red paint here on both sides here, with some silver paint on the tires here. And she does have the little rocket boosters here with the wings and the fins. And here's the top view. And the bottom here. And here's the back here. This is going to be her waist in robot mode. And you can clearly tell what these are going to form as. These are obviously going to form as like her legs in robot mode. And she does have some red paint on these things here. Some silver painted turbines here. And she does roll she does roll well, not really. She doesn't roll quite well, because, well, these back wheels here roll for like no problem, but these front wheels don't really roll really well, because these are gonna form as her feet in robot mode, but they don't quite roll really well. Which is a bummer. And that's like really my only problem with her in vehicle mode, is she doesn't really roll quite well on all four of her wheels. And that's about it for her vehicle mode. But we're not quite done yet, because there is some alternatives that you can do with her in vehicle mode. Now, this first mode, like I already told y'all, is the land alt mode. And she does have 3 modes, which I already told y'all. So for the second one that we're going to go to is what is called the air alt mode. And to do that, you're going to you're going to remove these wings here. And you're going to set these off to the side. And you're also going to have to remove this little teal piece here. If I can. I'll just use this tool. There we go. So you have to remove this tiny little piece here. Now we're going to take these wings here and attach these onto the same holes on the sides of these engine pieces here. Now we're going to take this piece here, which has the fin here, and attach it to the same hole on the top here. And there you go. There you have her in her air alt mode. And the only thing that's new in this mode is she just has like these extended wings here. And a new tail fin here. But it still does look cool. Now, the next mode is what is called the C alt mode. Now, to get her into that, all you're just going to do is remove this tail fin piece. And now we're going to replace it with this piece here onto the same hole. So you can have it like that. Now we're also going to bring in these posable arm pieces. Now, on mine, as you can see right here, you can barely see it. One of these arms on mine broke off. Because when I first opened up the box to check out both of these guys, one of these posable arms just already snapped off from these thin pieces of plastic here. These thin armature things. But as you can see here, I had to glue it on. And the way you attach these is, I'm only going to do it for one arm here. The way you would attach these is, these ball joints are going to go into, I'm going to go ahead and untab these front wheels here so you can see what I'm doing. The way you would attach these is, these ball joints here are going to go into these holes here. So you can have it like that, and then you would reattach these things back on. So you can have it like that. And you can also do the same thing with the other arm thing. And these things just have a ball joint at the base there, which I already showed y'all. And it also has a hinge joint here. And that is the C alt mode. So now let me just get her back in her land alt mode so we can get to robot mode. And the way you remove these arm things is you have to, well, the easier way I do it is I would bring it out like this and push it just lightly with my thumb, so that way these can come off. And don't grab it by the arm here, because these are really thin pieces of plastic. So now let me just get her back in her land alt mode so we can get to the transformation real quick. Okay, so now to transform Nickel, you're of course gonna remove these front wheels like you already saw. And the way these tap in is from these two pegs, this white peg and this teal peg, from this hole and this hole. And once these are untapped, you now want to bring them out. And you're also going to take her waist here and bring it up until it taps into place. It's just like a soft tab. Now for her legs, you're going to rotate them on this mushroom peg here. So it looks like this. And now you're going to take these knees here and rotate them so they look like this. And now you're going to slide them up until they click into place. Just like that. Oops. And like that. And now for these wheels here, you're gonna flip up her feet here and also the heel spurs so they look like this. Just like that. And you also want to rotate her waist around so it looks like that. Now Now for these things here, you're gonna separate them. And bring them out. Well, you do want to take these engine pieces here and bring them up. So they look like this. So that way these are out of your way. And you also want to, you do want to take these armatures where these white things are connected to and untap them from this peg and that hole there. And now you're going to bring them all the way back, and this peg is now going to go into that hole right there. Just like that. There we go. And now you're going to untab this piece where these engine pieces are connected to and bring it down. And now for this piece here, you're gonna slide it up just a little bit so that way you can separate this in half. So it looks like that. And now you're gonna, there we go. Now you're going to take these and shift these out so they look like this. Just like that. And now you're gonna come to the back here and you're gonna take her head, which is right there, and flip it up. Well, not all the way up, because you do want to take her chest here and slide it out, but the easier way to do it is you would go inside this little, well, put your finger in this little hole to help push out her chest. And what her chest is also going to do is it's also going to help these things to tap in from these pegs into these holes here. Just like that. And just like that. And now you can take her head and flip it up. And you do want to rotate it around. And you can now bring this up. Now for these things, you want to take these wheels, untap them, and bring them all the way back. And then you want to untap these white things and bring them out and rotate them so they look like this. And you do want to take her shoulders here and slide them up, which will help, like, well, you do want to bend what will become his elbow. So that way you can take her shoulders and slide them up to these things here. So they look like this. And then you do the same on the other side. And for the final step, we just want to open up these things so we can flip out her hands. And you're done. And you can position these however you want. You can either have them like this, or you can leave them extended out so they look like this. I like to have them up, so that way they're more compact. And there we have Nickel in her robot mode. And she looks really good all around. And as you could tell on her face, I did put on one of her interchangeable faces because, yes, people, she does have some interchangeable faces. This is not the face that you would get when you first get this figure. This is just some that I just put on. But getting closer look, well, first I gotta get my camera situated here. You can see she does have some nice teal for her face, and she does have some red on the top of her head and some red paint on her chest, which are these 3 dots here. And one problem I have with her in robot mode is that when you're moving her arms around, like when you have her arms forward, and if you try to move them in and out, oh, there we go. You can see sometimes that little armature comes undone, because I wish that they would put some tabs on this side, or maybe inside here with some holes to help tab these in more. And she does have the white arms here and some teal paint on her hands. And here's the side view here. And she does have some more teal paint and some red on her elbows here. And here's the back. And here's the other side here. And that's about it. And for articulation, her head is on a ball joint, and you can move these antenna things here up and down. Oh, and she does have some silver paint on the top of her head. Her arms can rotate all the way around. They can move in and out. But she does... No, she does not have a bicep swivel. I kind of wish she would, but she doesn't. But she does have an elbow joint. And the wrist is... Yes, they're on a ball joint. And her waist can rotate all the way around. Legs can go forward, back, in and out. Thigh swivel. Double jointed knees. And that's it. And she does come with some accessories. But she does have a couple of little features in her also. And that is, you can open up these things so you can have them like this. If you want to. But for the accessories, she comes with if I can get them here. She does come with these little tools here. And she comes with a total of 6 of these. So this is the first one, which is kind of like a little, like, screwdriver, or not a screwdriver. But it's something. And she does come with this, which is a screwdriver. And a drill thing here. Another screwdriver which has a flat head. A hammer. And a wrench. And you can have her hold them in her hands. And I think the way she holds them is in, the way she holds these is in that little clip right there, which is a little circle right there. So that way she can hold these in her hands. Or if you don't want her holding these, then on her chest she has these 6 little hook things where these holes can be onto. So you can have them like that. And they do move around. And you can do that on all 6 of her tools. And another thing she comes with is she does come with another Voss gun here. And it is the exact same Voss sniper rifle like I showed you with Jaguars. Because he also comes with a little Voss gun. And it has the same articulation. Like the bipod moves, this back piece extends, the sight here which does slide off, and this thing which can move all around. And it does have the same interchangeable handle, where this handle can be held from either Mastermind Creations figure you have or any of the mainline Transformers you have. But you can remove it and replace it with this handle here, where to remove it you would push on the handle this way and that would unlock it, and then you can swap it with this handle. And this handle is meant for, of course, nickel here to hold. Yes. And another thing she does come with is 3 interchangeable faces, which I just told y'all. So the one that I have on her is a shocked face, but she also comes with, well, I think that's like a screaming face. But she also comes with a shocked face. Now, I think this is the shocked face, and that's the shouting face. And she also comes with a smiling face with her mouth open, and another smiling face with her mouth closed. And to swap the faces, what you would do is you would have to remove her head, and right inside the head there's this little teal tab here where you would push on it with a tool you have, and that would pop out her face, and then you can swap it with the other face. And if you're having troubles trying to remove her head, just unscrew the back of her head on that screw just a tiny bit, so you can remove her head a lot better. And now let me get these accessories off my review area. And you can also display her with the little claw arm things. And these are going to go on her legs here. From these holes here on the sides of her legs. So you can have them like this, and you can have them tucked away so they look like this. And I think that is about it for the weapons. I'm checking to make sure I got everything real quick. Yep. That's about it. So now let me get Dominus Ambus back in. And the last thing that these two come with, like with all the other Mastermind Creations figures, they come with their individual collector's cards with the stats on the back. And of course you get the instructions / comic book, which you can see, and it's upside down. Now, before we get into our final thoughts and end this video, let me show you a size comparison with their other DJD members so far. So here is Voss, Kaon, tarn. So you can see how the team is shaping up so far. So, 5 down, 2 more to go. So now let me get these out of the way. Alright. So, final thoughts. I really like both of these guys in both of their modes. But my only problems with each one of these, for Dominus Ambus here, or the pet, when you're trying to untap the beast mode head or try to get that thing with the chain on it, like when you're trying to remove that part off, and also the beast mode head off of the chest piece, you might end up removing that chest piece with it. But you can fix that with a little dab of super glue, so that way it stays on. And I may need to put some more super glue on it, because I didn't put enough of it on it. And for Nickel here, my only problem with her is I wish all 4 of her wheels in vehicle mode were functional, so you can have all 4 of them roll with no problems. But everything else about both of these figures look really great. And I do like all of the remolding that they did with Dominus Ambus. Although Dominus Ambus came out first and Ravage came out second. So I think that's about it. So there you have it. Mastermind Creations, Knee and Foxwire. Their take on IDW, Nickel, and Dominus Ambus, aka the pet. And if you like this video, give me a like, comment, and subscribe for more. And if you want to check out some other videos you may have missed, there's a playlist set up on my YouTube channel. So I think that's about it. So thanks for watching.